Elena was a world-class rock climber. Her goal was the Dragon's Back, a sheer cliff face in Yosemite known for its treacherous cracks and seemingly impossible overhangs. She trained for years, prioritizing strength and flawless technique. On her first serious attempt, she failed dramatically. A sudden storm caught her high on the cliff, and she slipped, suffering a severe injury to her left shoulder. The injury required surgery, leaving her with reduced mobility and chronic pain, a permanent fracture in her ability. Her coach told her to switch to easier routes, but Elena refused. She saw the Dragon's Back as her destiny, even if she had to approach it as a broken climber. She spent months relearning how to climb, not by regaining her old strength, but by developing a completely new technique. She learned to use the reduced range of motion in her left side as an anchor, relying more on balance and counter-leverage, finding footholds she would have previously ignored. Her greatest realization came when she returned to the Dragon's Back for her second attempt. She was slower, less powerful, and every movement was a conscious, painful negotiation with her body. But this time, she succeeded. When she reached the summit, her coach met her, amazed. "How did you do it, Elena? You are technically weaker now." Elena looked back at the massive cliff face, visible in the afternoon sun. "Before the injury, I climbed the cliff by seeing the perfect path and forcing my body to follow it. But the cliff itself is imperfect, full of cracks and fractures. This time," she continued, pointing to her slightly damaged shoulder, "my body was imperfect too. I stopped fighting my weakness. Instead, I let my brokenness mirror the mountain's brokenness. I found power by listening to the cliff's imperfections and using my own limitations to match them. My flaw became my tool." Elena discovered that true strength is not about eliminating your weaknesses, but about accepting them and integrating them into your strategy. The biggest barriers we face often become the foundation for our greatest, most authentic victories. News of Elena's impossible ascent of the Dragon's Back spread quickly in the climbing community. Climbers didn't just admire her strength, they were fascinated by her new philosophy, climbing with the injury, not despite it. A year later, Elena was no longer chasing peaks, she was training a new generation of climbers. But she didn't choose the physically flawless athletes. She specifically sought out those with their own fractured walls, climbers struggling with chronic injuries, severe anxiety, or deep-seated self-doubt. Her new student was Mark, a brilliant climber who had lost 2 fingers in an industrial accident. Mark saw his hand as a tragedy and believed his career was over. He was bitter and focused solely on what he had lost. Elena did not try to hide his missing fingers with adaptive gear. Instead, she had him practice on rough, textured walls, where the unusual grip his hand offered actually provided more unique leverage than 5 perfect fingers. "Your strength isn't in what's there, Mark," she told him. "It's in the space that is left. It forces you to be innovative, to be smarter, to find paths that the perfect climbers are too lazy to see. Your loss is your unique perspective." Mark slowly internalized this truth. He stopped mourning the past and started leveraging his difference. He became known for his incredibly creative and efficient climbing style. Elena's legacy was complete. She hadn't just conquered the world's toughest cliff, she had taught the climbing community that perfection is often the enemy of innovation. Her greatest achievement was not the peak she stood on, but the generation of climbers she lifted by teaching them that their scars were not signs of weakness, but blueprints for their most authentic and powerful success. She proved that the true definition of mastery is the courage to work beautifully within the confines of your own limitations.